as well as other issues in the country. He said the government has a target to vaccinate 20 million citizens against the coronavirus before the end of the year. That aside, he said the government intends to introduce media support programs, capacity enhancement and security for the media to work in a safe environment. He asked that the media continues to report on government support programs.
Na yempuntu asu hwan ye san pagyamu na ban na montuo no egwafana miensa baako vaccines etosu mienu aban pese odi sika ehye Ghanaian economy ni mu sika be 100 billion Ghana cedis asa na etosu miensa epese san kwaso boy ho dewuru se bambo no yenhwe na yama ntofom.
The minister also spoke about security.
Mumma abribia no bambo ho nkomo no ehia say we a media monitoring reports bambo hu komo nyaade a yetai edi se BBS ye besramo ye nsada ye nsayem say momma bambo hu komo titiriu etuate dom nwuma omo ye in the West African sub-region and say nua ema amayaman ekọ ahu because as ade na start pe obi odi ni sika ba bia adwuma bia na bibia bia no trom no atam the bag no ko.
Mr. Oponkruma was on a day tour of the region.
There are reports that the woman at the center of the Takrady kidnapping saga went to the Ashanti Regional Social Welfare to request for a newborn baby of any sex. According to sources, she told officials of the Social Welfare Department that she needed a child desperately to save her marriage. Since there was no fresh baby at the time, she was told by officials to begin the process of acquiring baby. The leadership of the Northern Regional Police Command, led by its regional commander, COP Timothy Yosa Bonga, paid victims of the incident that led to the interdiction of 4 police officers. They assure the victims that the police will act decisively, investigate the matter and bring the officers involved in the assault to book. The police have since facilitated the medical treatment of the affected persons and paid for the full cost of their treatment. This is in addition to the psychological support provided them by a team of clinical psychologists from Accra. In a related development, the police says culprits of the vandalized police divisional headquarters building and VRA office will be arrested and brought to book. The command also cautioned the youth to desist from any act that might disturb the peace of the area, while commending the chiefs and opinion leaders for their understanding and urged them to continue supporting efforts by the police in ensuring peace and security in Tamale and its environs. You're watching News Hour live on GBC News and News and Governance channel. Rice farmers in and around Asin Breku in the Asin North districts of the Central Region are pleading for support from government to get back to business after some 400 bags of rice which they had harvested were destroyed by the recent downpour.
Memo 25 bags.
Over 200 bags of rice have been destroyed, so the government should come to our aid.
25 bags. Na dia ra ho kra ni sa ko tiba ki ofre me ma mi pe 50 Ghana me ba di esu ko me anya sika na me dia ma mbe na kwala wo was 3 o chro na me nya sika na me dia ma kwala no na ho me te pa me mu nyina ase wo mu kwa ni ko wo mu kasa wo mu ye pa wo sa ko ade cha na ma ba ade cha ko mo adwo ko mo ahwe anim ase ba wo obi abo mama ni ase nsuo na ba.
The farmers attributed the unfortunate situation to a diversion road constructed on the bridge on the Yamransa-Kumasi Road,
which caved in during a recent downpour. The contractor on the said road, Shimizu Dai Nippon GTV, is said to have pledged to support the farmers, but he has not redeemed his pledge till date. The farmers claim they have lost all their investments to the rain, making it extremely difficult to take care of their families. The Queen of Assembly, Kunana Hima Ntiamwa, shared in the sentiments of the farmers. The president of Ghana interprofessional body, Nana Kwabena Ejiaye, called on the government to see the demand of the farmers as an emergency which needs an urgent attention. In an interview, the district chief executive for Assin North, Charles Ohiniando, hinted the assembly has begun engaging with the farmers to fashion out a support scheme.
It is very expensive to borrow money, and most of these farmers have borrowed money to do this business. So we want government to look at what is happening here. This is not good, it is not fair, and it is not right for farmers to go through this ordeal.
Scientists are concerned that pollution of marine life has a direct effect on humans. This is because by polluting aquatic life with plastics, human beings are eating fish bred with plastic waste, which has dire consequences on humans. At a beach cleanup in Accra by ambassadors of European Union countries, the new EU ambassador to Ghana, Mr. Aichad Razali, says the European Union prioritizes protecting marine life. It was a collaboration with Plastic Punch, a plastic recycling company in Accra.
This is an annual event by the EU ambassadors and held simultaneously globally. The adoption of the beach by the EU for the exercise is to protect marine life and to leave a more sustained aquatic life for future generations. The cleanup began with some aerobics to keep participants in shape for the job ahead. The waste materials collected were segregated into biodegradable and that which cannot be disintegrated by microorganisms. It was to assess which kind of plastic material dominates in terms of pollution. The EU ambassador to Ghana, Mr. Ishad Razali, said all governments have a responsibility to ensure that the sea is protected because of its economic value and how it supports the budgets of governments.
Litter, which destroys marine life, which has bad environmental effect, bad economical effect, bad health effect as well, due to the millions of tons of plastic and litters which have been put into the water and the sea every year. It has been said that the fish are eating plastic, we are eating fish, and some scientists say that each and every year, every one of us are eating the equivalent of a plastic debit card due to that. So
the executive director of Plastic Punch, Mr. Richmond Kennedy Kwaku, explained the rationale for the segregation of the waste collected.
We want to collect important data on marine litter. We want to understand what pollutants are on the beach and also in what quantities, so that we can be able to use this data. And also by auditing the brands which are on the beach, we are able to influence, by this data, influence policy direction and how we should go generally as a nation in managing pollution or pollution in general.
Lending support to this effort were hip life artist Sarkodie, ambassadors from EU countries, volunteers and members of the public.
From medical screening of inmates of the Osam Krom camp prisons, majority of these prisoners have high blood pressure. This, according to the medics, can easily precipitate cerebrovascular accidents such as stroke. About 170 inmates, including officers, were part of the exercise. Sarah Fori has the details.
Sam Krom Camp Prison is an all-male prison at Aguna Swedru in the central region. It was built to serve as an auxiliary facility where inmates from the maximum security prisons and other prison facilities across the country are brought for the purposes of decongestion. This means newly convicted persons are not admitted at the Sam Krom Camp Prison.
We also undertake farming activities here. We have people. So it means that if you want to buy pig here, when you can get one here. We also cultivate maize, coffee. We have palm plantation. These are things that we do here to help in the feeding needs of the inmates.
Yet the absence of farm implements such as a tractor to lessen the burden of farming and increase their yields has denied the inmates of the dividends expected from their farms. The animal stock looked emaciated and crops seemed not to be thriving. Health Support Foundation, a humanitarian group which embarks on outreaches in poor and underserved communities, has come to the aid of the inmates of Sam Krom Camp Prison with free comprehensive medical care. They were checked for blood pressure, blood sugars, malaria, and given medication.
I think central government can improve their feeding allowances and also extend basic amenities to them, particularly health services. Today, for example, we met inmates with very high blood pressure, and inmates walking about with a blood pressure of 200 over 140 millimeters of mercury is virtually walking cerebrovascular accident, and this is a problem.
The team further donated swivel chairs, a computer, copier, printer and a scanner to upgrade their offices. They also stocked the infirmary with BP apparatus and medication. The inmates were feted after and each received personal sanitary packs to enable them to complete the camp's tailoring shop. The Health Support Foundation team donated 10 bags of cement to officials of the camp. Meanwhile, the prison is said to be in dire need of bank beds. Cyril for GBC News, Accra.
The Achimeboakwa Presbytery of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana in the Eastern region has launched 100,000 Ghana cedi endowment fund to cater for the welfare of its ministers and catechists after their retirement.
The Achimeboakwa Presbytery at its 2021 session in April took a decision to partly address the challenge of poor retirement conditions by establishing an endowment fund for all agents in the presbytery to be funded by the congregation. A management committee is in place to facilitate as most congregations are in rural areas and financially handicapped. Arrangements have also been made with Data Bank to manage the fund. The chairman of the presbytery, Reverend Dr. Seth Kisi, said the presbytery has also decided to embark on an economic empowerment project to ensure that members live better lives to be able to support the church when need be.
We are in the process of nursing and supplying oil palm seedlings to our members who have lands to cultivate oil palm plantation. We intend to supply 30,000 seedlings each year for the next 3 years. Our members throughout the presbytery have more than 1,500 acres of land for the plantation.
A Deputy Minister of Finance, Mrs. Abna Osei Asari, spoke on the need for the church to partner the congregation to protect the environment. She noted that 80% of forest reserves controlled by government from 1990 to 2016 have been lost due to illegal activities. The chairman of the presbytery, Reverend Dr. Seth Kisi, appealed to members of the church to support what he called a noble cause that would inure to the benefits of all.
We now recap some of the past week's headlines in pictures. You're watching live on GBC. We'll be back shortly with some foreign news, sports and entertainment. Do stay.
(2006). (2010).
Goes for goal! What did I say?
2014. And now, Qatar 2022. 40 African nations. Who makes the top 5? Can Ghana make a slot?
Ghana won! The USA won!
Qatar 2022. The Ghana begin here on GTV Sports Plus. The legends live here.
This program is proudly sponsored by
betway.com.gh.
Hisense, everyday prices for everyday.
You're welcome back. Thanks for staying on. Polls in Germany have closed in one of the most unpredictable elections in its recent history. Voting ended at 16 hours GMT with the exit polls showing a neck-and-neck race between Merkel's Christian Democrats and rival Social Democrats. The election had Merkel Conservatives and the center-left Social Democrats in a tight race for the chancellorship as she prepares to leave the political stage. It is the first election since the country reunified in 1990 that Merkel did not run as a candidate. Chancellor Angela Merkel is stepping down after 16 years in power.
Tens of millions of voters headed to polling stations on Sunday to determine the country's next government and to the chancellor who will lead it. Germans have been voting for a new federal parliament, choosing who will govern them for the next 4 years. Projections based on exit polls suggest a dead heat between the main parties, the Social Democrats of Olaf Scholz and Armin Laschet's Conservatives. Either candidate will need to put together a coalition to form the next government. Polls closed at 16 hours GMT. Reports say coalition building is likely to take time as parties have to agree on common grounds and decide on key posts. Gaining the support of the Greens and or the Liberal FDP is likely to be key for any would-be Chancellor Christian Democrats, CDUs, Armin Laschet and Social Democrats, SPDs. Olaf Scholz are front-runners in the race to replace Merkel as the country's next chancellor as she prepares to leave office after 16 years in power. Mrs. Merkel remains acting chancellor until a new one is elected by the new parliament, and if coalition decisions take weeks or even months, she has to continue in post.
You're welcome back. Confusion erupted at the Wa Malik Habib Sports Stadium after Yasin FC beat Sombo Freedom Stars by a goal 2-0 in a Middle League game on Saturday. The fans say a decision by the Regional Football Association to allow for a playoff match between the winning team, Yasin Football Club and Wa United Football Club, to decide who qualifies to the National Division 1 League was unfair and flies in the face of justice.
The Division 2 League, which started in June earlier this year, saw the registration of 29 teams across the region. 18 of the teams were from the Wa municipality. The teams were put into 6 groups with a single winner from each group playing in the Middle League games. In the last game of the Middle League, Yasin FC faced off with Sombo Freedom Stars. Few minutes before the end of the first half, one of the star players of Yasin FC, Salifu Abdallah, was sent off to the dismay of both fans and management of the team. Yasin FC, playing with 10 men in the blue jersey, scored in the dying embers of the game.
And that is the winner. Look at the time the goal came. Look at the time the goal came. You don't mean it. Sombo Freedom Stars in disarray.
Their joy of sealing qualification to the National Division 1 League was short-lived. Information from the Regional Football Association was that there will be a playoff match between the winners, Yasin FC and Wa United Football Club, to decide who qualifies for the National Division 1 League. Officials say their actions were backed by the RFE regulations clause 7 section 4. Meanwhile, fans of the winning side, they were not informed of the rules and were not in agreement.
With 10 men, you don't need 11 men to beat Sombo Freedom Stars.
Well, time to make way for talking points. Do stay and enjoy. Good evening.
As waste is generated every day, we have an obligation to keep our environment clean every day. We have to do so daily and not on a monthly basis. Every day is Sanitation Day.
According to NC, or say I'm a pay, let me go. If you don't hear a bit of maybe, don't you see I'm a run a war. Let's let me say, the amount of TV anymore. That's me, only be a better.
You can make your money, but clean Ghana first.
Cleanliness is next to godliness.
What are you selling, mommy? Food or garbage? If you sell food in a dirty environment, no one should buy.
No excuses. Be a good citizen. Keep a clean surrounding.
Cleanliness is next to godliness.
Adabrakatala mi wo yo ye bia ma chane. Bia ne wo dente wo fie wo ni. Fale wo nu wo sumo fale wo. Go ba wo gate dem po no je gate na ona do ebu ajemi. Kede na nu wo pa nu wo be o bola pe. Alo fe ja ka pe o. E wo bola jole wo gate na.
Good evening and welcome to Talking Point. I'm your host, Dr. Corey Wright, coming to you live from the studios of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation in Accra. We are also streaming live on GBC Ghana Online, on Facebook at Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, and we also welcome those listening to us on Unique 95.7. Talking Point comes to you live this and every Sunday, where we engage with you on issues with national concern and engage you for informed decision-making. This week, the Ghana Statistical Service released the provisional results of the 2021 Population and Housing Census. Tonight, we warmly welcome back the government statistician for a discussion on the provisional results and what the data suggests for Ghana's growth and development. As always, you can join in the conversation using our WhatsApp number. Call us during the show at 055-744-6429. And again, a warm welcome to you, Professor Samuel Kobna Enim, the government statistician who has been with us a couple of times already. So it's very good to have you back.
Thank you.
So last week you released the provisional results, and I know you more than anyone else had high expectations about how this whole exercise was going to turn out. So if you could talk to us generally, how do you think so far things have been?
Thank you very much. So far it's been pretty smooth. And why I say that is, this is the first time Ghana is doing a fully digital census. And for that reason, one of the markers was how soon we can come out with the provisional results after the data collection. As you recall, the data collection originally was expected to end on the 11th of July, but due to some mop-up that we had to do, we exited the field on the 8th of August. And 22nd September, we've been able to put out the provisional results. This has a lot of implications for us from different perspectives. One is the closeness to which the data that we've collected would inform decision making, because we've reduced the time lag that we had in previous censuses, where it took Ghana Statistical Service more than a year in 2000 to release the provisional results, and more than 6 months in 2010 to release the provisional results. So readily policymakers have something to start working with as far as the 2021 population and housing census is concerned.
Okay, so the preliminary results, how do they compare with the last 3 census exercises we've been through?
It's important we put the scope of the results that we've released for the provisional results in context. And why I say that is basically we've released the results from 3 broad perspectives: the population, the structures, and the household perspectives. And for each of these perspectives, we're breaking it down into different dimensions. So in terms of how they compare with previous censuses, the headline story is that since independence, when we did our first census in 1960, our population has grown 5-fold. Essentially, our population in 1960 was 6.7, and now we're talking about a population of 30.8. So approximately the population of Ghana since independence has gone up by 5-fold. And if you look at it from the perspective of the growth rate, we currently have a growth rate between 2010 and 2021 standing at 2.1, which is the ever lowest level growth rate that we recorded. And also from the household point of view, since 2000, when we had an average household size of 5.1, it's dipped to 3.6, indicating a 1.5% difference between the 2000 average household size and the 3.6 that we are recording now. And from the structure point of view, we are unable to really compare because of the changes that we've brought into the instrument. But the headline story from the structures point of view suggests that now we have 10.7 million structures in the country. 55% of it are residential structures. And from the completion point of view, where eventually we're going to have a conversation around the housing stock and, for that matter, the housing deficit, we have residential structures accounting for 55% of the 9.8 structures that we have. From the 10.7 structures that we have, we are unable to make a determination on about